Well, if you thought the OJ trial was dramatic, welcome to Diddy's latest episode of fans chanting "Free Diddy" while dousing each other in baby oil. Is this a trial or a bizarre spa day, honestly?
It was less courthouse, more WWE SmackDown. You had protesters demanding justice and superfans treating the verdict like Mardi Gras, minus the beads, but with double the baby oil. Only in America can a mixed verdict spark a foam party.
And let's not forget the charges. Convicted on the lesser ones, but acquitted on the serious stuff. Apparently, the jury decided Diddy's parties were kinky, not criminal, because nothing says innocence like a 5-day hotel orgy, right?
Exactly. The jury basically said, "We don't condone the freak show, but hey, it's not quite organized crime." I haven't seen such creative legal gymnastics since lawyers tried to convince us OJ liked gloves.
Let's rewind to the 90s when Diddy and Puff Daddy was busy reshaping hip-hop. He was signing artists like Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige, basically playing God with a boombox. How big was his influence, really?
Huge. He didn't just launch careers, he practically built the genre's commercial engine. Bad Boy Records was hip-hop's answer to Silicon Valley, except with more gold chains and less code. Without Diddy, half of your playlist wouldn't exist.
So he's the Steve Jobs of rap, but with more lawsuits and less turtleneck. But even musical messiahs can fall, as we're now seeing.
Absolutely. His rise was meteoric, but as we transition to his parties, it's clear his after-hours activities were less Apple Keynote and more Eyes Wide Shut, the remix.
Let's talk about those infamous freak-offs. Hotel sex marathons with more plot twists than a telenovela, plus enough baby oil to lubricate the entire state of New York. How did these wild stories actually play in court?
The prosecution painted Diddy as the Gatsby of debaucher-endless parties, violence, drugs, and sex. The defense? They argued it was all consensual, like a particularly gross episode of Friends with a lot less coffee.
So the jury basically had to decide if Diddy was Hugh Hefner or Tony Soprano. Apparently, they saw him as neither, just an overzealous party host with questionable taste.
In the end, beyond a shadow of a doubt was a stretch. The bar for racketeering is high, and Diddy's legal team practically pole vaulted over it.
Let's get real. Diddy's looking at up to 10 years per charge, yet experts say he'll probably be out in a few. Is this justice or just celebrity math, where prison sentences get divided by net worth?
It's classic justice for the rich. He'll likely serve concurrent sentences. Plus, he already gets time off for good behavior if you call not throwing a party in jail good. Odds are he'll be back on the streets before his Spotify royalties dry up.
So, Diddy's comeback might just be a matter of waiting out a Netflix binge. But let's transition to reputational damage, because some stains don't wash out, even with all that baby oil.
Exactly. Jail sentences end, but Google search results are forever. Next time someone types Diddy, they'll get a playlist and a warning label.
Let's talk reputation. Is there any PR magic strong enough to scrub Diddy's name clean after all this? Or is he destined to be hip-hop's Voldemort?
Short of inventing memory-wiping technology, I doubt it. Even Michael Jackson's moonwalk couldn't outrun his allegations, and R. Kelly's still streaming from a cell. Diddy's legacy is now a cautionary tale with a sick beat.
So you're saying his comeback odds are about as good as Blockbuster reopening?
If Blockbuster specialized in crime documentaries, maybe. The public's memory is long when it comes to scandals. Just ask Kanye, who's still trying to reboot his career from the social abyss.
Let's be honest. Even before the court drama, Diddy's music career was on life support. His last big hit was when people still bought CDs. How relevant is he musically now?
Not very. He's released maybe 3 albums in 15 years, none of which set the charts ablaze. These days, he's more likely to trend for legal drama than any new track. In music circles, he's basically become a pop culture meme.
So his comeback would require not just a clean record, but a time machine. Let's transition to his business venture. He's apparently tried to sell everything except dignity.
Exactly. He diversified into beverages and apparel, because why stick to music when you can hawk vodka and tracksuits to the masses?
C-Rock, Sean John, and whatever else he slapped his name on. Was Diddy a savvy businessman or just a celebrity with a sticker gun?
It's 50-50. He rode the wave of celebrity branding, but none of his ventures became the next Nike. It's like he tried to be Jay-Z, but ended up somewhere between Dr. Dre's headphones and a Kardashian skincare line.
So, a jack of all trades, master of none except maybe reinventing himself after scandals. Let's pivot to the fandom, because apparently, Diddy could be caught on camera robbing a bank and still trend, "Free Diddy."
Fans are loyal, but even they have limits. Eventually, even the baby oil runs out both literally and metaphorically.
Devoted fans outside the courthouse acted like Diddy just cured cancer, not stood trial. Why are some people so determined to ignore reality for their heroes?
It's the cult of celebrity. Studies show parasocial relationships can mimic real friendships in the brain. So, when their idol falls, fans go into denial, mode think Stockholm Syndrome, but with better soundtracks.
And let's not forget the influencerism practically turned the trial into a TikTok challenge. But as we transition, is there any precedent for a disgraced star making a true comeback? We've seen Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, and Kanye West try varying degrees of comeback. What does the data say about stars clawing back relevance after scandal?
The numbers are brutal. R. Kelly still racks up 5 million monthly Spotify listeners, but he's not headlining Coachella anytime soon. Redemption depends on the crime, the apology, and a public with collective amnesia these days.
So Diddy's path to redemption is less hero's journey and more choose your own disaster. Final segment, is there any way forward, or has the curtain dropped for good? So, after all the drama, convictions, and baby oil bottle memes, what's next for Diddy? Is there any universe where he stages a real comeback, or is this just a slow fade into infamy?
Unless he finds a wormhole to a dimension where criminal records boost album sales, his comeback odds are slim. Maybe he'll reinvent himself as a motivational speaker, How to Survive Scandal 101. But honestly, even Tony Robbins would pass on that gig.
So, Diddy's legacy, part mogul, part meme, mostly cautionary tale. Thanks for joining our roast where reputation is harder to rebuild than Diddy's next album drop.
Pleasure as always. Remember, in the world of celebrity scandals, today's headline is tomorrow's trivia question. Unless, of course, you're Diddy, then it's just tomorrow's punchline.